for joining me this morning on Inventor What's New 2021. I'm going to quickly run through what updates and what are the latest features that that Autodesk have come out with in the Inventor environment for their latest version of Inventor. So the latest release of Inventor, I suppose, is right. So the latest release of Autodesk Inventor is packed with updates to focus on design and innovation. You'll find modeling improvements along with sped up workflows for assemblies, parts, and drawing creations. A very impressive feature that's been added on this year is the interconnectivity or associativity between Revit models and Inventor models. So you can create BIM-ready designs and maintain associative links between Revit and Inventor data with new AnyCAD functionality. Also present are new contextual property panels and the dark theme option. So this presentation basically is divided here into 8 parts. What we're looking at is the Inventor experience, so decluttering your workspace with view options in the property panel and experience the new dark theme option. The AnyCAD for Revit maintains seamless interoperability between Revit and Inventor. There's been a huge performance upgrade compared to 2021 when opening up huge assemblies or parts, so it's pretty useful. When it comes to part modeling, you can save time with part level enhancement for sheet metal, multi-body 3D assemblies, and multi-body parts. So assembly enhancements for tube and piping assemblies have been restructured, and it gives you a lot more freedom with file naming as well. There's a more user-oriented DWG creation where the workflows have been improved with level enhancements and new commands. So creating and documenting structural members faster with frame generator is also one of the updates that have come out this year. Also is the speeding up of sheet creation with updates to sheet format and iLogic. Now, so the Inventor experience, when we talk about the Inventor experience, we're basically talking about cleaning the property panel, decluttering the interface, and speeding up the workflow. The dark theme is available for users this year, but it hasn't been completely taken on board. It's still under development. So it is a nice feature. I personally like it. I personally like working in the dark environment. Kind of gives you, kind of takes the load off your eyes, especially if you're working all day on design work. So here's a short video on what updates have been brought in by Inventor 2021. So a new dark theme has been added on to provide an alternative appearance for customers who prefer to work in a low light environment. When you test Inventor's new dark theme, you'll be advised that the dark theme is currently under tech preview. It hasn't been rolled out to all of Inventor's environments yet, and it is still under development, but it looks like a good addition, and I suppose it'll be completely in effect as the later service packs come into action. Also, in Inventor 2021, there have been more commands into the new property panel interface, including split, thicken, offset, decal, coil, combine, and bend part. The property panel interface adds new functionality to existing commands, including the ability to use presets, rename features with the command running, and automatically generate sketches. So you can see that it'll let you rename while you're actually creating the sketch, so you don't have to look around or hunt in the model browser where your feature creation has been. These new and existing property panel tools streamline your everyday workflows and declutter your workspace. Moving on to the AnyCAD for Revit. Now this is a huge improvement or addition into the Inventor workspace. By connecting Revit and Inventor, the aim is to provide seamless integration of data, maintaining links for seamless transitioning between Revit and Inventor. So what basically the new feature is all about is the associativity between Revit and Inventor is maintained. You can open up a Revit project in, it can be accessed locally or via BIM 360 into the Inventor environment. The changes in design are really inevitable. So any changes that you make to your Revit model are automatically joined into the are automatically updated in the Inventor environment. So that is a pretty handy feature, especially when you're working, between Revit and Inventor. It cuts down on the load of, I suppose, load of your workflow, so that you're more focused towards design and less time is being spent on going back and forth between files and updating stuff. So in the construction industry, custom fabricators want to provide additional value to your company by adding this feature of interoperability. So the Revit project can be accessed from a local file or coordinated via the cloud using Autodesk BIM 360 Common Data Environment. On referencing a Revit file, custom views from the Revit project can be selected in Inventor, allowing you to filter BIM, to just the information that you need. So in the Inventor environment, the Revit model is organized by category, allowing you to further examine the structure of the model and filter the BIM to your requirements. Once placed in the Inventor assembly, the Revit project can be used as a reference model to help guide your design. Working with native Revit projects helps you locate your design using shared coordinates, size your design appropriately, and coordinate your design against the integrated BIM. So changes basically are inevitable, as I was talking earlier. So if you need to go from, say, Revit to Inventor or Inventor to Revit, when the Revit model changes, we'll need to update the Inventor model to suit. Because the Revit model is referenced into your Inventor assembly, any changes that the Revit project will have will also automatically update into your Inventor assembly. A change to a design in Inventor is a change everywhere. Your design has been referenced. Automatically updating all downstream uses of your design model help you coordinate your work and keep up with the change. When your design is ready, you can output your model from Inventor as a BIM object, ready to submit, closing the loop on your design cycle. So the extended AnyCAD functionality that comes with Inventor 2021 is really to help customers, ease their workflow between going back and forth between Revit and Inventor, just to smoothen it out. So I personally think that's a pretty nice feature to have at hand. So moving on from the AnyCAD functionality, we're going to be looking at the performance improvements. So some of the items that have the most impact have been faster opening and updating and computing assembly environments. So you have smoother assembly workflows, you have graphics navigation that has been sped up. So if you have a larger assembly that would take, I'd say, plenty of time in Inventor 2020 to open up, Inventor 2021 pretty much has been a standard quicker than the current standard of Inventor 2020. Also, we're going to look at a short video now, just detailing what the performance improvements look like. So making a product perform better from one release to the next is the standard for product development. And with Inventor 2021, it's no different. We've continued to improve Inventor's performance to help you get the most out of the hardware you've invested in and work more productively with your increasingly larger and more complex designs. For assembly design, performance has been improved when inserting sub-assemblies from the time taken to insert, from the time that you have control over the sub-assembly's position, eliminating the wait time before you start to place your components. Inventor 2021 is now faster to respond when selecting many components at one time using window selection or component filtering, and experience quicker visibility changes when flipping the visibility of your components directly or using saved views. What Autodesk have also worked on is to improve the responsiveness of the component-related features in the assembly environment. So your adaptive components are now quicker to respond to changes in the assembly relationship, and component patterns based on features patterns within the part file are faster to respond to change. That's on the performance side of things, which I think is a great improvement from the previous versions, where it gives you the option to pretty much customize how your workflow would look like. So further down the line, I'm actually going to be talking about how the drawing environment in Inventor 2021 has been improved. But for now, we're going to move on to the part modeling improvements that have been made to Inventor 2021. So what Inventor 2021 has been introduced with is significantly enhancements for sheet metal, multi-body parts, and 3D annotations. So majorly, there has been a reduction in the number of mouse clicks for familiar window selection for selecting multiple bodies and faces in your parts. The unwrap command gets even quicker with additional options for constraining planar holes and alignments of the unwrapped surface. The sheet metal flange angles can now refer to existing edges and faces for the specified angle. To maintain associativity really between two environments. So what we have here is the option to select and filter bodies, faces, and edges, and you can then window select multiple number of bodies, faces, or edges again in a multi-body part. So that feature was pretty much missing in Inventor 2020, but it's a great improvement for the 2021. Now the unwrap command, it has also been improved with the help of the option to select multiple planar holes to be rigid. You can rename the unwrap command while you're creating the unwrap. You don't have to go back into your model browser just to rename it. You can align the results to the model or to the X, Y, XZ, or YZ planes. So that is a I wouldn't call it a game changer, but it's a huge improvement in terms of the unwrapping command in the sheet metal environment. So you can also now add custom properties in the leader text, general note, and general profile node commands. You can display extended information after feature node name in the browser window. So you have a lot of improvements that have come out in terms of enhancing your workflow. So the sheet metal environment has been improved by the fact that it lets you specify the flange angle by value or by reference. You can use the by reference option to select a plane or face, surface, or an origin plane, or even a work plane to set the flange angle. So if you're working with sheet metal flange or sheet metal options, basically, this is a very handy improvement, to be honest. So what we're now looking at is a small video on how that has been improved. Sorry about the sound. So what is being done here is you're being provided the option to use the window selection that supports selecting multiple bodies or multiple faces using a familiar left-to-right window to select all objects inside the window, or right to left select all the objects that are inside or crossing the window's boundary. In the model browser, extended information now applies to work features. So the unwrap command, when used, so the unwrap command allows for flat patterning of components outside of the sheet metal environment. Improved in 2021, the unwrap command now allows for multiple planar holes to be held rigid, and the new option has been added to align the unwrap surface. For sheet metal, a new option in the flange command allows flanges to be aligned using a reference space as an input. To help you create a full 3D-based definition, support has been added to 3D annotations to allow the referencing of customized properties into leading notes and general annotations. So basically, you can have custom properties that you can also define using your iProperties. To complete the round trip of product model information, support has been added for both import and export of files containing 3D annotations into the JT standard. So from Inventor 2020, it is a major step up. Personally, being an Inventor user myself, I like the new features that have come in. It gives us more flexibility when we're working with our models. So jumping into, I suppose, the third or the fourth improvement that we're looking at this morning, Inventor 2021 delivers assembly-level enhancements for tube and piping assembly structures and file naming conventions as well. So file naming dialog has been extended to the mirror and the copy commands. There are improvements for file naming to the frame generator, tube and piping designs. Root command enabling renaming routes without leaving the command. Basically, when you're creating a new route under the tubing and piping environment, you don't have to. Basically, what Inventor 2021 does for you is it helps you rename the route then and there itself, rather than you having to complete the route, come out of the environment, and then go on and rename it. The also added functionality that has been added into the 2021 environment is the multiple routes under one single run option. So usually in Inventor 2020, what you'd have to do is, if you're creating a tube and pipe run, you'd have to create multiple routes for that. But with 2021, you have a single run under which you can have multiple routes again. So that kind of eases your workflow, and it declutters your workplace when it comes to the assembly or the model browser environment on your left-hand side of your Inventor user interface. So you also have the option to control the saving of your content center files to library folders. So there has been an added checkbox under the Applications Options tab to enable manual control whether or not you'd like to save your content center files into that library folder in case you were doing a pack and go or something like that. By default, the toggle disables creation of a subassembly structure and creates a single part within your root assembly. You can enable creation of a subassembly now. That is another design accelerator that has been added into Inventor 2021. So I suppose the next one that we're going to be looking at would be the file naming enhancements that have been added into this functionality. So the file naming defaults dialog box is enhanced with new features and updated to increase productivity. Earlier, I suppose you didn't have the option to set up the file names with absolute freedom, but now obviously you can set it up as you like. Also, there has been a huge enhancement to the pipe and tubing tab. The appearance of the dialog box is now modernized, and to improve navigation, the content has been reorganized to display as a browser query. Also, the root property panel, creating routes have been improved in the properties panel themselves. So just to make it much more easier and convenient, I suppose, for the end user. What we're now going to be looking at is a short video again for the improvements that I was talking about. So what we're looking at here is the tubing and piping environment currently we're in. So you can see there have been multiple routes created under one single run. So for the assembly environment, what has been done is the file naming defaults have been extended to the mirror and the copy commands. So you have the option to set up your own, I suppose, customized names for your feature creations and all of that. For tube and pipe, they have implemented the routing command as a new property panel, allowing you to create and apply your routes while keeping the command running, speeding up the development of your tube and pipe routes. So to help you structure your assembly environment, the functionality that has been rolled out was last seen in the shaft component generator to bolted connections. In this example, notice that the new option to disable the subassembly structure. With this option active, no folder or subassembly will be created on disk. The individual components will be inserted directly into your assembly. This gives you more options for structuring your assembly and organizing your data to best suit your needs. You'll notice the difference immediately when you look at the assembly structure in the browser. If you need to edit the bolted connection, select the bolted connection node in the browser. When saving files, there have been new options that have been added to set default behavior for whether files should be saved or not, and a new save state column in the save dialog box to help you understand what files Inventor is prompting you to save and why. So all in all, there have been major improvements with regards to this functionality. It gives you more freedom to be able to customize and I suppose more flexibility with your design work, and shorten your design time as much as they can. So earlier when I was speaking about the improvements to the drawing environment, there's a few listed over here. So a new dimension type parallel diameter with the diameter symbol is created when you select the silhouette edge of a cylindrical feature, shaft or hole. You can also align a dimension to a selected edge now, and using the new dimension type rotated to place a dimension and position it perpendicular so that it aligns to the selected edge, which is another great feature that has been added into Inventor this year. The measure command now is available in the drawing environment as well. So just not in the modeling environment, but now in the drawing environment as well. You can create shaded view of reference parts. Basically what has happened here is the drawing view dialog box is enhanced to allow you to create shaded views of reference parts. The line style setting section is renamed to display style and updated as follows. Two new options for creating shaded views of reference parts are added: edges as reference or shaded, edges as part or shaded. The two new shaded options are available only when a base, projected or section view is placed and contains reference parts. So two of the former line style options are renamed as basically reference parts is renamed to edges as reference, and parts are renamed to edges as part. I suppose the more we use Inventor 2021, the more we get used to its latest features, which helps us understand better what the product enhancements have all been about. So here is a small video on how the customer-driven environment has been improved. Components set to reference in the Inventor bill of materials have new visibility options in drawings, with additional options to show reference files in color with or without dashed outlines. The ability to add automated center lines to drawing views has been made much easier to discover with a new button for automated centerline command in the ribbon. So if you just look up top, there has been a new automated centerline option that has been added to reduce manual work when it comes to just throwing in the center lines on top of your drawing. I suppose when dimensioning your views, the ability has been improved to detect diameter dimension inside or section views, even when selecting parallel geometry. And the new rotated option will allow general dimension command to rotate dimensions to any drawing geometry. To help you complete your documentation, the workflow has been streamlined for copying and pasting general tables within drawing sheets. And there has been a huge user request on the measure tool being added to the drawing environment, allowing the ability to take additional measurements from Inventor drawings without creating additional annotations. So the drawing environment in Inventor has been improved massively from what it was last year. It has been, I suppose, more streamlined and more user-oriented this year to customize and help your workflow. So what we're now going to be looking at is the frame generator environment. So the frame generator environment, I suppose, really comes in with improvements that have been made to the file naming dialog, enabling you more detailed control of your naming schemes for frame generator components, including the ability to set the file name of the component to be the same as the display name in the browser. When creating frames, a new category filter enables you to narrow down your selection, and preset configurations now help you save your most frequently used frame settings for use again later. A similar feature has been added into the drawing environment, which I will be talking about further down the line. So geometry can now be filtered from within the property panel, and a new preview glyph helps you to orientate your frame as you select skeleton geometry. The new zoom tools help you orientate your frame by adjusting your view to look directly at the frame selection, or to an isometric view of the frame generator or the frame member you're placing before zooming back to see the entire design. The frame member trim tool has been improved, enabling you to trim members to a curved frame. The end treatments, 2 new notch profiles have been added, extending notch support to I, T, and C profile channels as well as circular members. The frame members reuse command has had a significant overhaul, making it easier to reuse existing frame members and to populate your skeleton geometry. So I suppose what we're talking about here basically is the improvements in the frame generator environment, and there have been a number of them. So while it comes to file naming, your appearance setting, your zoom and view settings, you have been given more added functionality that lets you customize your settings and reuse them, save and reuse them for later. So by the means of which you don't have to keep repeating those exercises over and over again. So the trim and notch command in Inventor has started selecting a curved face to define the tool, and the result is a cut that is ready for manufacturing. The notch command includes additional profile works for the CT and I cross sections. So it is a pretty handy tool, to be honest, and I suppose it does help if you're working with frame generator environments for, I suppose, a longer amount of time. What we're now going to be looking at is a short video again of how the frame generator has been improved. So first off, the insert command now previews the member shape and displays an origin glyph where you highlight sketch geometry. If you move your cursor along the placement path, basically the video now is showing you the customization that you can do with your frame members. So if you move your cursor along the placement path, you can change the location of the origin and the profile orientation before you click. So you can see that the window for placing your frame members has been changed and improved in Inventor 2021, and now you can rotate, orientate it as you like, and set it up directly without having to refer back to the property panel. So basically, lesser number of clicks, lesser navigation, quicker placement of members. There are 3 new display controls in the property panel that set the zoom and view orientation. So one of them sets the view perpendicular to the frame manipulators, zooms to the frame manipulators, and returns the display to the initial view. The apply appearance to part option is added to the advanced settings menu for insert, change, reuse, and change reuse. You can here what you see is selecting a member to reuse required you to select the original. In this release, you can select a reuse member to select the source, basically without having to navigate to the original frame member, I suppose, from where it has been used initially. So it kind of saves you a load of time, navigating through the model, trying to find what part is where, especially if you're working with a complicated frame environment. So I suppose the frame environment, the frame generator environment has been massively improved from last year. It has been made quicker and much more user friendly to ease your workflow when you're working with the frame generator environment. The next thing we're going to be looking at is the automation of your drawing environment. So basically, when you create a new drawing sheet, a new sheet inherits the settings based on the originating sheet format. Now what's happened here is the settings for each placed view, that is shaded and unshaded. Basically what this 2021 software allows you to do is it allows you to place your base view and your projected views and then define them as shaded or unshaded views. It gives you the functionality to save the property the property of the sheet, basically to save the base component as a shaded part and the rest of the projected parts as unshaded parts. So this can be reused basically further down the line when you're looking to reuse those sheet settings without having to navigate and set them up again. Also, what has been added is the flat pattern views, where you can define your flat patterns and the sheet format and templates are updated to retain the sheet metal flat pattern view as they do a base view. So basically, Inventor gives you the chance to set up your flat pattern views inside a drawing sheet and be able to save any customizations that you make to the base sheet. When you choose a sheet format template with a flat pattern view saved, it is populated based upon the sheet metal part that is directly linked to the drawing source. So this has also been a nice addition to the environment, to the Inventor environment. The next thing we're going to be looking at is the added functionality using iLogic drawing functions. So there have been new iLogic functions that have been added to the snippets tab under iLogic, and so basically writing code from scratch takes a bit of time. Inventor 2021 covers several new functions for reducing the amount of time it takes you to set up and automate your drawing. Basically, with the help of iLogic, the linear, angular, radius, and diameter dimensions have been improved. Your center lines and your center marks have been automated. Your leader nodes, fold, and thread nodes, along with the balloons functionality, have been improved a lot. But obviously, if you need more customization, you always have the option to use iLogic and automate and customize your workflow specifically to how you like it. So we're going to be looking at a video here that details on how the functionality actually works. So if you look carefully at the video, there have been continued improvements to technical drawings that are still a contact deliverable and are an important communication tool, of course. So Inventor 2021 delivers new functionality to help speed up drawing creation with updates to sheet formats and iLogic automation. Sheet formats in Autodesk Inventor are a great way to start new drawings, and along with drawing views of your design automatically generated from a pre-selected model. In Inventor 2021, we've made the sheet formats have been made easier to find by adding them into the dialog for drawing creation. Your view layouts are saved as sheet formats that can now retain your view settings such as edge display, and there is also an added option called fit to view to automatically scale your views to fit onto your sheet. The sheet formats now support flat patterns. So here, using the iLogic functionality, we've created a sheet metal, a flat pattern on the sheet. They're all automatically populated from the model you referenced during sheet creation. I suppose to further help you with the automation of creation of drawings, there has been an improvement in the ability to add iLogic for dimensions, hole nodes, balloons for label features. There is also added support to change drawing styles using iLogic, making it easier and change styles to suit the end user, or batch edit styles to aid standards of CAD compliance. The sheet formats and iLogic make it easier than ever to automate the creation of drawings to your CAD standards in Inventor 2021. I suppose that is really it for today. If you guys have any questions, you can throw them out there. Thank you for coming to this presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it.